Hello, welcome back. So in the previous video, we spoke a little bit about the capacity and length for string builder and the difference between using the string builder class and the string buffer class, because the string buffer class is thread safe and the string builder class is not, so that's important. And then we used some of the methods that were available in the string builder. So now I'm going to look at more methods that are available in StringBuilder, and I've just written out a program with everything stuffed in it. Now the format, obviously same as normal. Don't go with this format, a layout. It's just for demonstration purposes, because you normally put everything nice and neatly and organized. So before I begin though, please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos. And give it a thumbs up and maybe comment below if you have some feedback. Okay, thanks. So now we have our string builder chars class, capital S for class as usual. String builder, and then we call our new instance buffer, and then we pass through hello into the constructor of string builder. And within that then we just print it out, and there's a class, a method called toString that we can use to do that, and it converts it to a string. Here we have our what character is at the index 0 and the index 3, and then we make an array called char, and we're a char array, even a char type array, so a character type array called char array, and we set it to the length of the buffer of the string builder, and we get the characters. So this is our source begin, like length, and then we have our again source start, destination even, and our destination beginning. So then we print out the characters. Then we used an enhanced for loop here, for statement even, to run through it and print it out. Then we set our characters here with the set char at, and at the index, because it does it similar to an array, so it's 0 based counting. So we have 0 is where the first character is, so it's hello, H in this case, ELLO. And as we know from yesterday and looking at Unicode, these are interpreted differently. So we have a capital H here is different to a capital L here, or a capital or lowercase h even. So we have here then our printed statement. So a buffer is, and then we use the toString again. We can also reverse it, then print it out. Then we have another method called append, and there are 13 of them. So if I go to the website here, and I can show you where append is. So we have character. So it's also important to note that there are, for every one of the primitive types, there are also a class associated with it, so that you can box it. So I think, remember a couple of videos ago we spoke about int, and the lowercase int being a primitive type, and then the uppercase integer being the class, and that's boxing. So in this case it wraps the character. So it shows you here a character class wraps a value of a primitive type char in an object. So this is where you're boxing it. An object of class character contains a single field whose type is char. Then we spoke a little bit yesterday about Unicode. So we can look up the Unicode referencing here. I used this yesterday. I'll put this up on the link below, because it's 0041. And so if you actually go to the Unicode website, you can see here 0041, and then 0061 is a lowercase a as well. So it's interpreted differently in different codes. So here these are just the capital letters, and you can see it's in PDF form for the charts that you can download. So when I go back to the Unicode website, there's actually all of this available. So it's not just for the Latin alphabet, which I'm using because I'm an English speaker, but you can also take from all of the other types of alphabets out there as well. So, and it's all interpreted within the Unicode, so the character representations and also emojis and things like that as well are there. We always take from the Oracle website. This is the standard edition 14 it's at the moment. So this is what I'm looking up because it's the latest one, and that's what I've used within my Eclipse as well to say the standard edition 14. So it's standard edition 14 JDK or standard edition that I'm using, so that's what I've downloaded as well to my machine. So here we have buffer append, where there's 13 different constructor methods overloaded methods with it. So here we have append character array, and then we have another one, the character array 0 and 3, and you'll see now in a second what that does. It also has an insertion where you can insert different ones. So I've got A inserted at the index 0, and I've also inserted here the character array, which I'll just run the program and you can see what it's doing. And then we can talk through each line. So when I go to the top, we have our system out here on line 7, and it shows the initial hello, which is already set here. It's already assigned, so remember DAU, so define, assign and use. And then here we have a character at 0, which is H, and character at 3. If I was to change this to another number, obviously this would pick up on whichever one. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's only, so it goes from 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, even though there's 5 elements. So then we have the characters are hello, which is part of our enhanced for loop that's printed out. Then we set our buffer and we print it out as well to the capital letters. Just for ease of use, I will say Java instead, maybe. Java and then remove one. So it's just easier to see the difference. So because it's set to the same length here, which is in our get character, and we already have it set up here, we haven't set the last character. So if I say set char at, and then the 4, and then single for character, and watch this. So now it's just set to Java, but it has actually a space here as well. So here we have hello, which is our 5. Then we have only 4 within Java. Then we have to assign something to here, unless you want to print out the O as part of hello. Then we can reverse it, so it's reversed here. Then there's also something called system get property line separator, which you'll see now in a second when I run the program again. So that's on line 28, and you can see between the reverse then and the append character here, we have the separator. I'll do that again and again here. Here we go. So you can see here when we go to the open declaration. So there's the get property here, which is part of the system class, and you can read all about it here within the specified key. First, if there's a security manager, if there's a code checkpoint, etc., 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 as we go along. So if we go back to my get character, and you can see here it puts in hello hell in it. So when I remove these, it has it all written here as well. So when we look at the append, we're appending the character array. So we already have it set up here to Java, but we're appending it again. And then we're appending from 0 to 3 again. So 0, 1, so 3 of the elements. And then we do it again, but it's probably easier to see it with the line buffers already put in as well. So as we go along, we can see that there's plenty of different things that you can do with the string builder. And then we can also delete. So I've deleted 0 and 3 and then appended a line separator and then written it out again. So it's really useful to be able to go to, let's say if I go back to StringBuilder, we have all of these append all the way down, and then we also have the character at, which is we have to put in our index, which is different to the number that's available. We have our delete, so our start and our end. We have our insert, which is so offset is always the starting point, and then like you have boolean or character as well. So there's multiple different overloaded methods for insert. And then we can also use last index of, or length is also used, and the reverse, and we've already set the character at. So you set the character at is done by the index, and then whatever the character is, like we just did there. And then we can also use any of these substrings as well. So that's it for this. Now I'm going to move on to the character class. So we spoke a little bit about that a minute ago. So we have our boxing and unboxing of classes to our primitive types. So we already know that string is a reference type because it's a capital S as well. We identify all our classes as capital S's, here as capital letters. Here we have our static character methods. This is not new. We've already used math class as a static, as with all of the static methods available within the math class. So when you're using a static, so when we're using the character class, basically the word static, I think I described it a few times as when you have players in a game and you need to share a resource, but you only create one and then you share it across all of the players. So for instance, in a game, it might be that I'm in a team and we have a certain amount of bullets, and we don't need to instantiate a new version of bullets each time. We just use a static variable for it and share it across all of them. So that would be the same then for character. Character is part of the java.lang package already. It has all these static methods within it. We don't need to create character equals a new character. We don't need to do that for math either. We just use the methods within it. So here, and we access it with class name .method. So here we have our scanner and our new scanner class, and then we have we take in our next input, we assign it to a string. We also have our input then character C, and we take in our next character at index 0. And then we have multiple different methods that are used here, static methods that are used here. So we have our is defined. So you can see that it determines if a character is defined in Unicode. So a character is defined if at least one of the following is true. It is an entry in the Unicode data file, it is a value in the range data file, and we've already gone through and seen a lot of this as well already. So if I actually go to the declaration of it, you can see that it's a static method, okay? And here is digit is the same. It's pretty self-explanatory. Is it a digit or not? So if it's specified as a digit, so we have here our Unicode, which we just spoke about there. You can go on the unicode.org website and have a look at it, but it's already part of it's already on our computer, so we can understand that. Then is Java identifier start, and then it needs to be whether it returns true if it's a letter. So a character may start a Java identifier if and only if it returns true. If it's a letter, it gets the type and it returns letter. So it's a capital, all capital letters like this with an underscore or a dollar sign, or has this punctuation as well. So the same then is part with the part. So it is a letter, it has currency symbol, connecting punctuation, digit, numeric, letter. These are all the conditions within it. And then we just pass our character here, which is part of our input. And then it is a lowercase, is uppercase, to lowercase is uppercase. So if I enter a character, so I'm going to enter A, and then it just outputs true or false for so these, when we define our Boolean methods, this is our naming convention always. So we always use an is with the lowercase I for a method, is whatever, and then you already know that it's a Boolean method. So this is, you don't need to go to the definition because you already know this because of the naming convention, which is really useful. And then we're setting it to something here. So this is obviously not. This is checking if it is 1, and then here when I go to the 2, it's a static char, but it returns it back. So then we can see whether they're true, false, true, false, as we go along. And then here we have our next class that I want to talk to you about, char forDigit. So the final class that we're going to talk about in this class. So we have our scanner input as well, and then we get our usual please enter radix. So radix is our base of a number. So we're going to talk a little bit of number systems. So we've got base 16 and different number systems that are important. So with the different number systems within computers, you have decimal, which is base 10, octal, which is base 8, and hexadecimal, which is base 16, and then binary base 2. So the base of a number is called radix, and then you can look up on the internet as well all of these things within Oracle, but for now we're just going to use this, and I'm going to run it, and you can see what it does, because I'm taking the next integer and I'm assigning it to this name, which is basically getting the base of the number. So I'm going to use 16. And then I have please choose whichever version, 1 or 2. So I take my choice and then I pass choice through to my switch statement. So 1 or 2 in the switch statement. So 1 is for converting a digit to a character, and the choice 2 then is character to a digit. So if I just run this then, and you can see that it's just using the, again, static methods from character. So forDigit. And this is character digit. So you can see returns the numeric value of the character passed through CH, which is going to be passed through here, whatever base it's in. If the radix is not in the minimum range, then it needs to be specified. Otherwise, it will return -1. So we also had a look at things that return -1 yesterday as well in the previous video. So if I just look at 16, and then, oh, I should really put in an extra space here and run it again, just because I'm a programmer and I like to have it done right. So 16, and then, oh, and this is also uppercase and this is lowercase. I'm going to go uppercase here, and yeah, just to have it done nicely. So I'm going to go 16. And I'm going to say 1 first. Please enter a digit. What are we going to do? 8. Convert digit to character 8. So if I go for another one, then we have, let's say, enter the character. So if I run it again, so if I go 16, and I want to convert a character, so I'm going to enter A, and it's going to return 10. So here, if I run it again, I'm going to go 16, and then I want to enter maybe a digit instead. So D, then it converts to. Okay, so that's it for today. We have to keep in mind that Java automatically converts the character literals to a character object, and that's a process known as autoboxing, which is not something new. We've already come across it before because we've already used the integer class when we were talking about it in a previous video, which I'll find and link below. And then yeah, so if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment below if you give feedback, and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Bye.